Christian implies no one would sleep with Emperor Palpatine, brings about destruction of our galaxy.
Just like you and I, 18-year-old Jamie Sullivan was once a normal human being, albeit a ladies' man, with a decent following on social media, before the world's fate would come to rest on his shoulders. This fun-loving Christian was quite content running his Facebook and Instagram accounts, something he did free of charge for the Christian community. These, invariably awash with selfies of him posing in a sexy, but wholly feminine manner, held him in high regard, both with his followers and God himself, it has been reported. Sullivan is no joke. Richard Burnish, a respected Bible author from Canada, told popular Christian magazine, Christ I Need Jesus, just last week. "There's no question about it," he said. Jamie was certainly one heaven of a man. A man whose resume boasts consistently good days across the board, and who is even known to sometimes employ the use of other letters. An astute role player capable of churning out inspiring statuses that advertise written techniques of the highest caliber. Cutest short stories. Must read. Boy. S3X. Girl. I am not your girlfriend. Boy. $700? Girl. Where? Boy. Car. Girl. Okay, why? Boy, blank. No lies, you? Want to read full story? The original work of Jamie Sullivan, October 4, 2015. To accompany unrelated but undoubtedly authentic God memes delivered by the man himself. I mean, with such credentials, who else would God pick? He's not an idiot. Some of these memes even cure various forms of cancer through the repeated typing of Amen. Jamie motivates fans by warning them that they will probably die if they fail to do so. It is important to note that, although the Lord's method of communication has not yet been identified, our intellectual estimations suggest he works most often via Facebook and Instagram these days, Tumblr if he's had a little extra caffeine. Sullivan would later refuse to confirm this vital information when questioned. For God's sake, he said.
It is at this point where the story takes a dramatic and frankly upsetting turn. Unfortunately. And despite this promising young man's efforts to improve the state of the world through the tireless sharing of Facebook memes and advertising his physique, presumably to impress God, today has marked an end to Sullivan's popularity, as it is reasonable to assume he will be responsible for Armageddon after the Emperor took offense to one of his social media posts today. The Russian military has been amongst the few organizations to praise Sullivan, describing him as the nuclear weapon of the people. The Emperor first took offense when, at 7:05 a.m. this morning, Sullivan posted an image of a goth woman, coercing everyone to ignore and avoid sleeping with her.
I happened upon this image when it was shared by Luke Skywalker. The Emperor wrote on his MySpace account, Luke being the early 20s Jedi he'd been secretly following in order to get hold of some saucy Leia shower pics. The message is delivered by God himself through carefully selected vessels such as Jamie Sullivan, Facebook user, accumulated 230,000 likes in 3.5 minutes. A minority of commenters have, in the past, rioted against Sullivan. Amen. I'm getting tired of these images myself. Amen, was one Christian's reaction to one of Sullivan's popular Amen or Burn in Hell memes. I just want to see family posts. I don't want to have to keep stopping to type Amen. Amen, voiced Georgia Williams, a concerned mother of two. Amen to that, added 22-year-old Target employee Sean Cole. However much this handful of Christians took offense, their respectful declination to embrace the Sullivan way of life bears no comparison to what is now unfolding. A meta-analysis by Brains, Tracy et al. Was hurriedly carried out earlier today in response to the news of our impending doom, and draws in empirical data from 734 UK studies. It argues, controversially, that the Emperor's plans to obliterate the Milky Way, thereby destroying all life as we know it, is a little bit of an overreaction, to be honest.
Despite this criticism from the finest among puppet scientists, the Emperor remains adamant that his strong dislike for Sullivan stems entirely and justifiably for the teenager's ghastly humiliation of the Gothic woman, whose whereabouts have since been tracked to a second-floor studio flat in Auckland, NZ. Eleanor Sullivan would later come to address the court. She dated a gay boy named Samuel in the 5th and they went on to have 7 children. In addition, he reported that Eleanor had been undeservedly blessed with oversized sexual organs, which he kept coming back to in order to emphasize the offensive image that may lead to our demise as a species. Asked one simple question: who would you rather sleep with? No-nonsense reporting caught up with Palpatine on his way out of a theatrical showing of Snow White this afternoon. He had this to say: "I thought it." Sullivan's post was going to be one of those super fun naughty quizzes, snog, marry, avoid, that sort of stuff. He dismayed, sitting before us proudly sporting the beaten-up leather jacket of his teenage years. But it was a bit shite because it only had 2 options, and one of them was this style-deprived hippie type named Jezza Chris or something. Palpatine maintained that he had nothing against homosexuals. He even reassured us that he had been known to play for the other team on occasion, but this man was just 2 last millennia. He added guiltily that Jezza also bore a striking, eerie resemblance to his first child, Monty, whom Palpatine had been forced to ignite following the boy's growing interest in synth-pop band Owl City getting out of hand. Before, the Emperor explained, he had been content passing his wayward son off as a glam rock enthusiast. But that changed as soon as Monty found his voice adminning the official Adam Young fanpage on Tumblr, a site dedicated to empowering individuals by assigning them to lots of groups. Certainly, this man was not capable of standing up well next to a beautiful Gothic princess.
We'd like to take a moment to interject and address the unexpected politeness Palpatine displayed for someone so keen to have us collectively reduced to matter in a few days. He came across as a very well-measured individual. "Call me Pal." Palpatine would smile whenever someone addressed him with his full name. Indeed, the Emperor's exceptionally well-mannered personality even extended to asking us questions like, "What did you think of last week's country file? Do you want to go and feed the ducks after? How's little Lacey getting on at school?"
This wasn't the really offensive part, however, and neither was the image's confusing half-hearted butchering of the English language. The greatest offense was taken when the Emperor noticed the image was instructing him to ignore the female goth, implying that goths were not only bad for society but potentially unpleasant and sexually non-gratifying. He said, "I'd rather sleep with Jesus because I'm not King gay," announced one commenter, before quickly and violently adding, "Amen." The Emperor has had brief but, he reassures us, a fair amount of wonderful relationships with women from a whole array of different galaxies, but was confident in saying that sexy Gothic chick from New Zealand trumped the lot. Although I was initially puzzled by the 250,000 identical "Amen" comments underneath the post, the manner with which a girl of such undisclosed beauty was utterly misrepresented pierced my very soul. The Emperor commented, "Palpatine is confirmed to have a strong affiliation with the Gothic community. He is rumored to have grown up listening to Gothic melodies, such as The Cure and Sisters of Mercy, to commonly browse Gothwire, and unconfirmed reports even suggest that the Emperor may have frequented a nail-coloring shop. Thus, he finds it hard to stomach when snotty-nosed teenagers misunderstand the kind-hearted, non-violent nature of the Gothic community. It is said Palpatine will respond by destroying our galaxy on Thursday." Following this news, Justin Bieber, who Sullivan had previously demanded that people ignore in the name of God, responded by taking some sexy feminine pictures of himself and stealing all of Sullivan's following. Sullivan has since admitted to posting these innocent, offensive images, and made only brief comments in his defense. These consisted of disparaging, and, at times, completely incoherent, ramblings directed at the Emperor, criticizing his appearance and blaming him for gay marriage and 9/11. Katie, friend of Sullivan, argued that Jamie's heart was in the right place, to which the Emperor is said to have responded. Although this may be the case, Sullivan's genitalia is still very much on his forehead.
Communications from the Death Star have indicated that the Emperor may reconsider the act of scorching our galaxy if Sullivan agrees to contact him over MySpace within 3 days and reveals specifically the female goth's number and home address. Meanwhile, Sullivan has been sentenced to 7 years of bad luck, the death of his family, his dog, Buggy, children, and a curse which may result in his TV failing to pick up BBC4. If he doesn't like the court on Facebook and share with 10 friends.